Hi, I'm Hannah Schroeder. I am a nurse and a certified nursing educator and certified healthcare simulation educator, and I'm really excited to present to you the Realityworks chest tube management system. Part of this system comes in a large carrying case, so it's easily able to be brought anywhere that you need to go. But you get this torso, and I really like that the torso has the clear chest cavity, so you can see the lung anatomy, you can see the chest walls as they inflate and deflate, and then you can see the heart, intestines, liver, stomach, and how all of that lays up on top of the rest of the anatomy. When you're going to be using this chest tube system, it comes included with batteries and a suction pump internally. So that's great that you don't need your own suction system separately. And we've already got the batteries installed here. So what we're going to do to put this together is take the vacuum tube, and it's going to attach right here in the center. So I'm just going to snugly fit this on. And the other end of this tube is going to go to your chest tube collection system. This kit also comes with 2 wet systems and 1 dry system. So they'll come prepackaged in the sterile packaging from the manufacturer. And if it's part of your lesson with your learners, you can go through the process of opening a sterile package and setting this up. Or if it's something that you're going to continue to repeat and reuse, you may already have some preset up, which is what we have here. So I'm going to hook my vacuum tube up to the suction head or port on the collection system and make sure that that's snugly fit. And if we are going to be using this chest tube simulator, on the left-hand side of the torso is the hemothorax chest, and you can see that the chest tube is inserted lower in the chest cavity to allow for the gravity drainage of the drainage that is in there. And then on the right side of the torso is the pneumothorax simulation. So this one has a higher insertion point, and we can choose to pick either one of these that we're going to use for the simulation. Let's say for this instance, we're going to use the pneumothorax side. So I'm going to take my chest tube, drainage tubing, and I'm going to use a little force here and connect it up to the drainage collection tubing going to our canister that's already preset. I also already have the suction control set to about -20, which is fairly typical, but you'll do that based off of the orders from the provider or what you're simulating. Our water seal chamber is also already filled up. As I mentioned, these are previously set up. So for the pneumothorax, there is a control of the pneumothorax and how much air is leaking or not leaking here on the right-hand side of the torso on the bottom. And we can control that by just turning it on. And we can turn on our suction. You can hear that start to run. And then on these ports over here, we want to make sure that we're hooking up our bulb. And this is going to be used to simulate titling. So I'm going to set this back upright. Make sure my tubes aren't getting squished. And then as I squeeze this, you'll be able to see a little bit of variation and change on that lung, the wall. It deflates a little bit as we're demonstrating the titling or the inhalation and exhalation. And the other thing that we can sometimes see as we're watching this titling and simulating that is a variation here in our water seal chamber of the titling going back and forth. So we can just mimic or simulate the inspiration and expiration or exhalation that our patient is doing. So that's really great for us to be able to demonstrate how we watch for titling, what's happening in the chest cavity, for our learners to better understand how the chest tube is helping to empty the chest wall, the chest cavity, the lung cavity, of the excess pressure. We want to return it back to its negative pressure state. Now, if we were using the hemothorax side, then we can set this up I'm going to turn the suction back off. We would have our tube to our drainage system hooked up to the hemothorax side. And the other thing that we can do is use the fluid inlet port to get an IV bag that's filled with our simulated blood solution, and we can attach that to the fluid inlet port and turn on the hemothorax control. So that way it allows the fluid from that IV bag to drain into the fluid inlet and fill your hemothorax cavity with as much drainage as you're needing for your simulation. And then that, once you hook up your chest tube to the drainage collection system, that's where all of your drainage will end up, is being able to be monitored within the collection chamber itself. So you can demonstrate how important it is to watch those mounts or watch the characteristics of the fluid that's going into your drainage collection system. So if we're using our simulator, we want to first have prepared for us the bleach and water mixture. That's going to be really important for if we're simulating any blood in the hemothorax chamber, or if we need to do some cleanup later on to make sure that there's not anything that's going to grow inside our chest cavity after we're done using the simulator. So that would be the first thing, is to prepare your bleach and water solution. The next thing that we would want to do is we want to take our rubber plug that sometimes pops out as you take your simulator in and out of the carrying case, but make sure that this plug is installed on the back of our simulator. So if we rotate this, our plug just securely gets placed in the back. Then we know that any fluid we put in won't leak out. The next step would be to make sure that your batteries are installed on the base of the simulator. And these pop out really easily. So just 4 AA batteries go into the little cartridge, and the cartridge slides in to the bottom of our simulator. And we just make sure that that is nice and secure. Then the other thing that we would need to do is open and prepare our chest tube collection drainage systems. You will get 2 of the wet suction canisters and 1 of the dry suction canisters. They'll come packaged in the manufacturer's packaging, sterilely packaged, so you can practice the sterile opening techniques that you need to do and preparing these with your learners if that's part of your learning objectives. Or you can set up these prior to your learning experience, so that way your learners can just focus on what's happening with your chest tube collection system and your chest tube, the respiratory system altogether. Maybe the sterile technique isn't something that you're worried about. So pre-setting these up according to the manufacturer's instructions. There's some really great videos available online from the manufacturers that walk you right through how to do that. On the back sides, there's often a syringe that will come pre-filled with the solution that goes into your water seal chamber. So you can insert that in there. For the wet system, it's going to include a little funnel so that you can use your sterile water and fill up via the chamber at the top here. And you'll also fill up your water seal chamber here at the bottom. So once we have those set up, then we're able to move on to connecting everything, and we can connect our chest tube drainage system to our simulator. Now, this is where we need to know whether we're simulating a hemothorax on the left side of this torso or a pneumothorax on the right side of the torso. There are corresponding places for you to hook up your negative pressure, which would be this bulb, to simulate the titling or inspiration and exhalation of your patient. So I'm going to hook up to the left side. So we're going to simulate a pneumothorax, which will be controlled by our control at the top here. We also have a hemothorax control on the middle section, and this bottom port is for allowing us to use an IV bag that's been filled with fluid that we can instill into the hemothorax chamber of the torso and mimic hemothorax drainage into our chest tube collection system. So that's what this would be used for, and this knob allows us to control how we're allowing that fluid to flow in and out of our simulator. So we're going to be focusing, like I mentioned, on pneumothorax, which is on the right side of this torso. So I'm going to connect the chest tube that's inserted into the cavity of our patient, our chest cavity of our patient, and hook that up to our prepared chest tube collection system. And then we can turn on our suction using the knob right here. And what we'll start to notice on our chest tube drainage system is we see lots of bubbling in our air leak chamber. I'm going to adjust that a little bit here with my controls so that we don't have quite such a simulated air leak, quite such a severe one. And as the lung starts to expand and our air leak starts to go away, our bubbling should start to subside or return more to normal. But it's super common, and actually something we want to watch closely is the bubbling that's in that air leak chamber, so that way we can see that there is improvement happening in the amount of air that's still in that chest cavity. So now let's try our titling. You can see as we simulate the patient taking a breath that we naturally have a little bit more of an air leak that occurs with each breath. And what you'll see on your chest cavity as you simulate the titling is a little bit of collapse and expansion of the chest, the lung tissue itself. Okay. So if we were all done, then we would tear this down kind of in a similar fashion. Once your learners are done, we can go ahead and, if we were using the hemothorax side, make sure we drained out all of the drainage that we need to drain. Then we can turn our suction back off. We can disconnect our vacuum pump because we no longer have that suction on. Hang on to this. You're going to need it even if you change out your drainage collection systems. You'll need to keep this for future simulations. And then your chest tube can come apart from your chest tube drainage collection system. And you can store this for another time. It is possible that you may need to add more water into your water seal chamber and your air leak monitoring chamber as water evaporates. So that's pretty normal for needing to watch for with either system for your water seal chamber to make sure that you've maintained the amount of suction that you need to control with the water that's in here, or in the water seal chamber that you are remaining at that fill line, and you can add more or take more water out from this little port right here with a syringe and a needle. So we let this dry out. We can take that little plug out the back to let it dry out further if we need to, and use our water and bleach solution to clean this up as we need to do that too. So if we're using this for the hemothorax, I've already got my batteries in, made sure that my plug is secure in the back, and we're going to hook up our vacuum tube to our suction that's included within the torso, and we will attach this to our suction on our chest tube drainage collection system. We want to make sure that this is open. If this were turned, then essentially this chest tube is clamped. So we want to make sure that the chest tube is open to the suction and drainage to come in. And if we have our fluid that's prepared to go into the hemothorax cavity to simulate that drainage coming out, it's going to connect right here on the fluid inlet. And then we are going to control the amount of drainage using this hemothorax control knob, and make sure that we have everything unclamped with our IV tubing so that it can flow in and fill up our hemothorax port. I'm going to go ahead and turn the suction on. Make sure our tube doesn't get clamped as we set this upright so you can see it. you can use the simulator either in that laying down position, or in the upright position. But one thing we always want to teach our learners is as we're using our chest tube collection systems, if we have this open, we want to make sure that our chest tube collection systems stay lower than the level of the chest cavity, so that way we can allow gravity to drain down. We wouldn't want any of the fluid that's collected in the tubing to get a chance to go back into the chest cavity. That would be sub-therapeutic for our goal for the chest tube system. So that's one of the biggest things, is making sure that your chest tube drainage collection system stays below the level of the torso or the chest cavity. So we have that here. I'm going to set this here just for you to be able to see. But let's go ahead and we can check and see that we have the air leaks, and any drainage that would be accumulating and going into our chest tube would be flowing into the drainage collection chambers, and we could see that drainage amount continue to grow. We can have our learners observe the characteristics of the drainage and the amount, and they can mark the time of day or the date and how much drainage has accumulated. You can simulate changes in time and allow them to see those trends of how much drainage is coming out of this chest cavity. And then we can determine whether or not it's time for this chest tube to be removed. And the other thing that's really neat that you can do about this is practice securing your chest tube sites. So whether it's the insertion site or the connection areas, and then really teaching your learners about the importance of assessing all of those different connections and making sure that everything is intact, that there's not any holes or damage done to the tubing, which could then compromise the success of the chest tube in getting that negative pressure to return back into the chest cavity. After you're done with your hemothorax, you'll need to take care of your chest tube drainage collection system. These wet systems can sometimes be a little bit more tippy because they're filled with water, sometimes be a little bit more messy, but depending on the manufacturer, there are great strategies that they've used to keep this tip over resilient so that you don't have a mess or have to set up your chest tube systems with a new set. So those are some bonuses, but really great for us to monitor the healing of a hemothorax, how much drainage is coming out and those characteristics, or to reinforce the dressing at the site of the tube insertion, or to confirm that connections are very secure and that we don't have any leaks going on anywhere.